I saw some criticism for Tony Khan's selling last night, and I gotta say, it made me laugh. I mean, I don't remember if people remember, I don't know if everyone remembers, rather, Vince McMahon taking his first stunner, but it wasn't what I would call a classic stunner sale. And I don't know if you remember Vince taking his last stunner, but it too was not maybe the prettiest stunner that Stone Cold ever gave. These are not professional wrestlers, and we're thrusting them into it. Um, I mean, what did you expect? He's not supposed to be good at this. Like, I thought that was a silly thing to take issue with, and I saw a lot of criticism online saying, "Well, that was stupid because the whole locker room should have come out and saved him. It totally took me out of it." Yeah, but that wouldn't have allowed them to do the angle. Like, you do have to suspend your disbelief every now and again here, right, Eric?
Well, you have to hopefully you suspend your disbelief from the moment the show opens.
Right.
Suspending your disbelief allows you to get sucked into the story and the characters that are unfolding in front of you. Your goal as a producer should be to get people to suspend a disbelief. I think what you're talking about, though, Conrad, is something different. Let me first talk about the bump. Yeah, a stunner, awkward one to take if you've never taken one before, which, by the way, there's no excuse for Vince McMahon. I am not covering for him. It was fucking lazy and stupid of Vince not to practice that because it's not a hard bump to take and make look good. All due respect. The only reason it didn't look good is because Vince was either probably too busy or didn't think he needed to walk through that with Steve. Otherwise, there was no reason for it to look bad. I've taken it. I'm not saying I took it well, but I sure as hell took it better than Vince McMahon did. And it's not hard if you just relax and go with it. That being said, Tony's, it wasn't a bump, it was a punch to the stomach. Okay, now the pile driver was a bump, but he didn't take that well or didn't take that well. That's just, it is what it is. You're knocked out. You're just dead. So there's no right way or wrong way to take it as long as you're able to walk away from it. That being said, I think what people were reacting to is that ridiculous punch that he took. First of all, Jungle Jack looked like he was popping a balloon. It was the worst punch I've seen in a while. If you can't at least make a working punch look good to somebody's midsection, you probably shouldn't be throwing punches. But so Jack didn't do Tony any favors because immediately it didn't look real. Tony's reaction to it drew attention to it because I don't think Tony's ever been punched in the stomach. Good for him, by the way. I wish I could say the same. But he oversold the hell out of it. And he sold dead. If you ever hear the term selling dead, this is what that means. He just oversold it and he laid there like he got shot. Horrible. Horrible. And that's, look, is it the end of the world? Fuck no. Coach Rosie's here. Such a great guy. Both Lori and I love him. He's part of the family.
Great human being.
Great guy in every way. He likes this angle. He disagrees with me. He's in the chat room, ad-free shows. And I'm glad he disagrees with me. And I'm even more happy that he believes in what he feels strongly enough to point it out. And I with you, Rosie, I hope I'm wrong. Glad you're there for it. But the execution, I've been talking about execution since we started the show an hour, 47 minutes and 21 seconds ago. It's all in the execution, and it's something as little as how you sell that punch helps either get it over and make it believable or make people laugh at it. I don't know that anybody some people were probably laughing at that. I did. It was like, oh my God, could you not have walked through? You've got Jake Roberts backstage. You've got Arn freaking Anderson backstage, probably walking around wondering why they're there. Why not pull one of those guys aside and say, hey, this is what we're doing. How can we make this look the most real that we possibly can? Let's walk me through this, Arn. Walk me through this, Jake. Teach me how. Because this is not like learning how to do Hurricanrana. Teach me how to register. That's another thing Billy talked a lot about last night. The difference between registering and selling. This would have been a fucking master class for Tony to take right before he went out there and did this. It would have added to the believability of it, and it would have taken away the almost parody kind of aspect of it because he oversold it. It is important. It's a little thing. It's really not in the big scheme of things. It's a little moment. It's a moment, a very little one, in what's going to be an ongoing series of events. In and of itself, not a big deal. But because it was one of the flashpoints in the story and it looked so ridiculous, it kind of, it casts a shadow. Just, wasn't necessary either. Could have been so easily avoided. Jake Roberts, Arn Anderson. Geez, I wonder if I can figure out how to make this punch look good. Hey, Jungle Jim, let's go talk to these two guys. Let's work on this for an hour before the show, because that's about what it would take. It would take an hour, maybe 45 minutes, and it would have looked awesome.
Barat has one more thought I think we should close with. He's been doing a lot of thinking in his part of the world this morning. I hope Shad walks out and talks about how he came to the U.S. from Pakistan with nothing and created these incredible businesses and questions his own decision to hand over the inheritance, make it real. That's something I hadn't even considered. But Shad Khan coming out and making that part of the story leans into all the negativity and all the hate. Man, I love a good work shoot or whatever you want to call this, brother.
But here's where, okay, now I'm excited. I'm interrupting not because I'm angry or passionate, because I'm excited. I guess that's passionate.
Do it.
Here's what I say, I hate fantasy booking, but when you hear a good idea, you can see the idea play out in your head as you're listening, or in this case, reading the idea. What if, oh God, I almost get horny when I start something out with what if. It's like I'm reaching for a blue chew. I'm going to go knock on my wife's office door and say, hey, put your shit down. We got business to take care of. What if that were to happen? Shad comes out and he's a character, and he comes out with dialogue that sounds something like Barat just suggested. That's the beginning of Act 1. What if then Tony's journey, and this is so relatable. There are psychiatrists and psychologists all over the world that would understand what I'm about to say from that perspective, because we all have some sense, desire, drive to live up to the expectation of our parents. Some people more than others. Some people, it's a clinical problem. Some people, it's just, boy, I wish I would have made my dad more proud of me. That's so inherent in all of us that it's a relatable premise for a great story. Because the journey then becomes, how does Tony gain his father's approval? How does Tony make his father proud of him? That's a journey that we've all lived. Some of us in our childhoods, some of us it carries through. I'll speak for myself. It's one of the things that I regret, is that I didn't make my father more proud of me than I did. I think all of us have some of that. And that's just, when you have something, when you have an emotion or a premise to a story that's relatable, because so many people, to one degree or another, have that same feeling themselves. And then you're able to play it out in a way that allows your audience and those people that have that little bit of what you have in you in that story, it could be such a great story, and it can have such a great happy ending. It's a great premise. Rod, you should give up cricket. Quit covering cricket. Quit being one of the most well-known cricket journalists in the world. Put all the success that you've had off to the side, put a pin in it, and be a wrestling booker. Don't tell your wife I told you that.